Hello, and welcome to RPG Limit Break. Tonight we have a fantastic race for you in the first elimination bracket stage of the 2019 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament. As luck would have it, two strong runners will be colliding tonight, and only one will be moving on to the round of 16. We have JackimusWedge, the number 1 seed at 5-0. Getting here by defeating Emptyeye in the first round, moving on to beat Amazing Toaster in the second round, followed up with a victory over Bobski021 in the third round, defeated Edgeworth in the fourth round, and then in a battle of 4-0s, he was victorious over Ryguy 37-45 to go a perfect 5-0 leading into this race tonight. And meanwhile, jjschmidt77 had a bit of a rockier path to these bracket stages, landing at the number 32 seed at a 3-2 record. He dropped his first round against Z-Man050778, bounced back by defeating the Amuse Miniature in the second round, then lost to Janice Zeal 6 to go 1-2, and from there it's basically been elimination stages throughout for JJ Schmidt. He was able to defeat Monsieur Slime in the fourth round to keep his hopes alive, and then had a victory over Captain Green 7 to punch his ticket to the playoffs here. We should note that the seedings for these elimination stages were 100% determined by the results of the 5 Swiss rounds of racing, which took place in the weeks immediately prior to this round. No other information was factored into the seedings. There were approximately the bottom half of the field who qualified were all tied with a 3-2 record, and through a series of tiebreakers largely beyond the player's control, JJ just happened to land in the number 32 position, so he has the honor and privilege of facing off against the number 1 seeded Jackimus, who has earned his top spot by going undefeated in the Swiss rounds. But make no mistake, these are both easily top 10 or top 15 runners overall, and we're surely in for a close and competitive matchup tonight. I'm not even going to try to predict the winner. But joining me tonight is my excellent co-commentator, Emptyeye. Perhaps you have a prediction for us.
I really do not, because as you mentioned, that is a lot of gold to start. Okay, so as you mentioned, JackimusWedge, of course, coming in undefeated at 5-0 through the Swiss round. JJ Schmidt, despite his seeding, also there's a ton of strength they're starting with. 35 strength.
So maybe we're not so concerned about holding on to this gold. You can already fight enemies almost as if you have an Erdrick sword here. Unfortunately, if they ambush you and hit you with the Dragon Lord breath like this ghost just did, that could be a problem.
Yes, I was going to say that high strength is a good thing considering the ghost ate the nuclear buffalo wings prior to this seed. Meanwhile, it looks like red slimes have sleep. I don't know if they have anything else nasty to go with that, but that potentially not good.
So you're dodging giving a prediction, as I assumed you probably would. I think this is a too close to call race, and already we see Jackimus with some early exploration, while JJ is trying to find something in the area that he can kill with 35 strength. So far, he's 0 for 2 here.
Yeah, surprising. But yeah, as I was going to say, JJ, despite his seeding, I believe he was actually the top seed going into the brackets in the previous Standard Flag tournament. So,
oh man, interesting that there's a town actually nearby, but JJ's died twice, so he's lost 3/4 of his gold. But he'll have enough for some equipment. He's got copper sword money, maybe some chainmail if you don't care too much about offense right now. There is a copper sword available and a leather armor, so
available there.
He could reset maybe and tack on the large shield if he wanted to go through the trouble. But right now, looks like he's just going to go with the sword and leather armor. And Jackimus is in the same shop at the same time, making the same choices.
Yep, doing the same thing there.
So nobody going to bother to reset their 0 experience or their 2 experience for more gold. It takes, a good 30 seconds to re-talk to the king and reopen all the chests. And I think both runners felt like, why bother when we have all this strength? Let's just go.
Right. Not only that, but given how surprisingly difficult it was to actually take that short walk through that town, no guarantee if they reset that they're actually going to make it there, unless they, of course, save beforehand. But that would just take even more time.
So another divergence, JJ takes a little extra time to visit the item shop, and Jackimus immediately goes back out onto the map to take another death. JJ grabbing a couple of torches, does don the dragon scale, so another +2 defense. The defense is the thing that's lacking. They started with just 10 agility, which translated to 5 defense power. Now with a little bit of equipment, that has gone up a bit. I think JJ did buy the copper sword, right? Because he had the money for sure to buy the sword, the armor, and a couple of auxiliary items here.
Yeah,
so one slime at a time, it seems like, for Jackimus. So despite the strength, getting level 2 the old-fashioned way here.
Yes, indeed. And if I am reading the level 2 correctly, that was... no, okay. There we go. That was 0 HP, 0 MP. I love it.
But hey, JJ jumped straight to level 3, and we have Hurt More, guys. So if strength wasn't good enough for you, maybe the best spell in the game will work wonders. And they did start with the Heal More spell, so we are off and running. This is going to be a race of exploration first and foremost. Who can cover this map the fastest? Because the experience is going to come very quickly.
Yes, indeed. Meanwhile, Jackimus finding coal. Unfortunately, nothing in the search spot there. So the Erdrick's armor has to be either in Hawksmith or somewhere on the world map. Meanwhile, a bunch of HP and MP at level 4, but most importantly, 0 agility! I love it!
Worthwhile for later, and I think JJ's in the bottom right corner of the map, so that kind of shows you where we're located and where they might be heading in the future. Axe Knight, too strong right now. I think JJ was out of resources, unable to hurt more that one. But he's already got a little bit of an experience lead by hurt mooring a couple of enemies. The Joel Magi kill was the most significant.
Yeah, anyway, we see a spark over bridge on both sides, actually. I'm not sure how accessible it is. The spark over bridge, of course, the bridge to a single tile, named for our Mistress of Bears, our resident corset model, Spark Over.
It's interesting that Jackimus has been so focused on the super early exploration that he got stuck on level 2 for a little while there, and as we know, level 3 is the key here. So he just now is able to get level 3 while traversing the swamp cave, runs into a Drakima, and now he'll have the Hurt More spell to work with. And JJ, I think it's going to take a double Hurt More for this Axe Knight. Does have the HP to survive that first hit, so he will get the nice experience boost and another level here.
There are zeros all over the place in this seed. I love it.
Yeah, but I tell you what's not zero is the strength, and also they are getting HP pretty quickly, so that does open the door for some of these end game enemies when you have Hurt More. Even though you're going to get ambushed pretty often, like this Axe Knight right now is ambushing JJ because the agility score has remained very low. Because you have HP to work with, you can survive that initial attack pretty often. Unfortunately, the Hurt More this time doesn't one-shot the Axe Knight. Probably does so maybe 2/3 of the time, but that time not so lucky. But having the HP to go with the Hurt More spell is really nice. And if they want to heal up, they have Heal More as well.
Yeah, the Axe Knight, probably one of the best enemies you can see in an early Hurt More seed. As you mentioned, you're going to defeat it with one shot more often than not with one Hurt More.
So Jack is back in Breckenridge, which was the nearby town. He's very close to Large Shield Bunny, but not quite there. If he were to just hurt more an enemy or two in the nearby area, wonder if he'll duck back in for the large shield. Seemingly that could be like, you could be done with buying defensive equipment if you just pop in and grab that while you have the money here, but nope, he's going to venture pretty far out. Now you can see even the Joel Magi ambushing. They're getting ambushed constantly because the agility score is really still very terrible. But
yeah, 12 agility is not a lot.
Yeah, so they're going to be dealing with getting ambushed, but then counter punching with the Hurt More, and then possibly healing up afterwards. We'll see if JJ maybe takes advantage of these herbs to, if you maybe get ambushed and take a hit, maybe you want to use an herb so that you don't waste your Hurt More MP in the early stages here. but he is getting a whole bunch of extra things, including possibly some fairy water here, so that he can get out away from the castle a bit easier.
Yep. So one of the changes made to recent versions of the randomizer is this fairy water shop in Breckenary is open from the beginning. Normally it's key locked, but has been removed. And the other thing JJ did was he sold off his dragon scale. Once you have equipped the dragon scale and gotten the bonus, that bonus actually sticks even if you sell or drop the dragon scale.
So interestingly, with 12 defense power, he will not be repelling very much with that fairy water right now. Like, he could probably still run into a scorpion or something, so... but still, you know, there are, like, slimes and red slimes right next to the castle, so if you take a death, you can avoid those particular encounters.
Tell you what, he won't be repelling a blue dragon.
No, not anytime soon, that's for sure. He is going to try heal more strats here. Unfortunately, the blue dragon probably hitting too hard. And the runaway with 12 agility is probably not going to work either. So it is a little bit tricky right now where you're kind of you're held hostage by which encounters you just happen to have, because you're not going to be able to run away from hardly anything. And you know, if you run into enemies that are not hurt moreable, let's say they find a wizard or a demon knight or something, you're not. It's a problem because you can't really get away. So. Unfortunately, Jackimus let a metal slime get away just now. That could have been a nice boost.
Yeah. Blue dragon's even not particularly what you want to run into here. You have about a 50-50 shot of landing a hurt more, but you're going to need 2 of them to actually attain victory against a blue dragon. And as you said, you're in all likelihood not going to be able to run from them.
Yeah, and Jackimus wasn't really topped off with the HP. It's one of those things that it's a balancing act again, because you don't want to be wasting MP because you want to use that hurt more spell, and it costs 8 MP every time you use heal more. But sometimes it's better to just make sure that you can enter a battle like that. Like if these Axonites that JJ is looking for right now on this grind in the desert here, every time they pop up, there's a good chance you're going to get ambushed. So you're going to want to keep that HP at max.
Right. Meanwhile,
I felt that was a really good idea by JJ, and it just didn't work out. He just couldn't find the Axonite when he happened to be looking for it. He was getting a bunch of Droll encounters. Get a Drakima here for level 7. When there's some agility finally. There's and some more power, but finally we're getting some agility.
Yeah, finally starting to have that average out a little bit here.
Yeah, up in the high 30s now for agility. All of a sudden, you will not be getting ambushed by all those monsters every 5 seconds. And, you actually might be able to run from them as well. So the Axonite here pops up, doesn't ambush JJ. That gives him a chance, let's say, if the Hurtmore doesn't one-shot it, so now he can go ahead and swing with the Copper Sword for another 11 damage and take it out. And he is using the herbs in between, like I mentioned, in order to try and conserve the MP for the Hurtmore. So, interesting strats by JJ there.
Right, definitely a savvy move there, especially with the item shop Breckenary so close to the castle. The herbs easily available if you're willing to take a bit of a walk into Breckenary to go get them.
And braving some swamps here. This map seems to have like a lot of narrow passageways to nowhere, basically. There were a handful of towns and caves right off the bat, and now we're walking around these lakes and across these bridges. Again, it's one of the nice things about the newest version is the way the maps are laid out can get a little bit more tricky. See, you can see the castle from there, but it was kind of a walk to get to where he is.
Yeah.
We saw Jack in here earlier. I think this is the swamp cave again, but oh, maybe not. Wait, this looks like he's trying to walk as if it were Mountain Cave.
Looks like Mountain or maybe even Grave?
I'm confused because I thought this was Swamp Cave, but nope.
No, it's clearly, so yeah, it looks like Grave.
And so we have nothing too exciting yet, and then just a gold chest here. Gonna go ahead and outside. Doesn't have keys yet, can't go to the bottom, and there wasn't anything too exciting in the top anyways. And here is JJ's trip to Cole and the Nothing Burger.
Yep, he's going to be disappointed when he searches and comes up empty here. Found nothing. Womp womp. But at least we know coal does in fact exist.
JJ does have large shield money. Unfortunately, this town, I think... oh, it does have the large shield to go with that flame sword that we saw earlier. So, nice large shield pickup for JJ. Happen to have enough money there. So,
Yeah,
slightly better defense than Jackimus now. Jackimus actually is back in the same shop and possibly also just picked up the large shield, although his video is a bit harder to follow, unfortunately. But
Yeah,
I'm going to say that he also got the large shield.
Yeah, looks like everybody is. Well, someone mentioned that he has it already, so... In the meantime, while I wasn't looking, Jackimus actually looks like pulled into the experience lead here.
Chat mentioning he was able to defeat a metal slime. I saw one get away, but he was probably able to find another one that when I wasn't looking, and that's worth 255, which is a pretty good boost at this stage. Here's a metal slime in the same region for JJ now. Let's see if the luck factor will even out, but no.
Oh.
No luck for JJ there, but here's another one. Second time was a charm for Jackimus, but no. 0 for 2.
No.
But it's possible he could walk around here looking for them for a minute or two because, you know, as long as they don't run away preemptively, there's about a 1 in 3 chance of defeating one. So if you encounter enough of them, you're eventually going to get one. But he gets the Druid Lord for level 8. So as you mentioned, the experience lead has become close due to that Metal Slime victory for Jackimus. And the equipment is about even, so we have a pretty close race on our hands again.
Absolutely. So to go back to something you were saying earlier, the new versions of the randomizer, the algorithm for drawing the world map has changed. And so you have a lot more kind of narrow, twisty paths and potential kind of tentacles to explore, which I actually like quite a bit. I think I enjoy it more now with this new version of the algorithm. The other thing I'm wondering is
I've been enjoying the new maps a lot also.
Yeah. But another thing I'm wondering is if this is going to be a seed similar to my race last night, where most of the stuff was on the second continent, except for the...
They're in the same general areas exploring as well, so I feel like the experience battle is about even. They've seen the same locations at this point. And I think that little peninsula Jack just found, JJ was there like 30 seconds ago. So it's very interesting. So now we have a hand axe upgrade for JJ. He basically just was grinding on those Droll Magi and Druid Lords that he saw in the region while kind of doing a loop around and finding dead ends in every direction. So on the way back through, decides to revisit the shop here in Cole and upgrade to the hand axe. I like the move. And now he's going to go in a different direction from here.
Yeah, it's going to be another 5 attack power for JJ Schmidt, so a couple extra damage on the next end. Can be helpful. Especially as you start running into maybe some of the more mid-game enemies where as you get stronger, you don't necessarily want to blow hurt mores on things.
Yeah, this is the stage of the game now where you really are hoping to find a key for the most part. So you want to do some quick exploration, you want to find the major dungeons, or you want to find Rimuldar. And if you can get a key, and if there happens to be a gold grind, you know, JJ and Jackimus have both seen a flame sword in this town here, and then you're just good to go for the rest of the seed. So, you know, you can hurt more all the enemies for the most part. We haven't actually seen a whole lot of Demon Knights and Wizards and Red Dragons and things like that, but eventually you're going to want one of the best weapons as well. So exploration is priority. You're going to want to find those things. Like we mentioned, Rimuldar would be excellent, or the dungeons, finding those chests. JJ had access to the top 3 in the grave, but there was nothing of consequence there. So let's see what else they can find out here.
Yeah, Rimuldar would be big, or potentially maybe Mountain Cave that happens to have a key in it, or one of the freebie caves, Roderick's Token, Stones of Sunlight Cave. Basically, they're really looking for keys right now, is the big thing.
And Jackimus with a couple of other big victories, I guess, because he's a couple of 100 points ahead all of a sudden with the experience after JJ had that early lead for the first 10 minutes. Seems to be swinging in the other direction, but still too close to call. JJ has a slightly better weapon, and just, you know, a lot depends on which enemies they happen to be encountering. this Droll Magi's been popping up a lot, and it's a really nice hurt-moreable enemy. Unfortunately, it's counterattacking right now with the Dragon Lord Breath, so...
Yeah, JJ trying to apply what I mentioned there, trying to conserve a hurt more, but unfortunately the Droll Magi stronger than 26 hit points and counterattacks with the Spicy Breath.
Yeah, it's funny when you have the early hurt more is that you're one-shotting things the whole time, so you actually don't really know what the enemies have. So then once you start slowing down and figure, well, I have the hand axe now and a lot of strength, maybe I'll just two-shot this thing. All of a sudden it has something, and you're like, whoops. But more fairy water in JJ's future here.
Yeah,
so taking advantage of a strategy that you don't see that very often, but I kind of like it. Breckenridge is very close by. And just grab 4 or 5 bottles of fairy water here. They don't have repel yet, so...
Yeah, absolutely, especially now that we have a bit of strength and agility, so they'll actually be able to repel things besides slimes and red slimes. Yeah, he filled up with that fairy water.
Full arsenal of fairy water now. We'll see if, level 10 guilds repel after all that, so that would just be the luck, right? But Blue Dragon again for Jackimus. I think he's going to try the double hurt more here, and he's got some heal more in between. They do have pretty good HP, Emptyeye, so they can actually take on things like the Blue Dragon here, even with, you might, if with hurt more strats, it might take a bunch of MP, but you can be victorious here.
Yeah, you can, tank this, or you can do what JJ is doing here now that he's got the hand axe. He's just straight up fighting this Blue Dragon.
Yeah, there's an example of where the hand axe is the slight advantage over the copper sword. It's doing a bit more damage by swinging. Probably 1 or 2 attacks less to take on the Blue Dragon, so he just uses heal more strats there and takes it down in a more predictable fashion. But yeah, both runners are making progress. Hawksness sighted for Jack, and did he just get to the 1500 for level 10? Yeah, so
he did, yes.
Here we go. And repel is at level 10, of course. So
oh, naturally.
all those fairy waters for JJ. Better use them quick.
Yep. Beta Strip pointing out in chat, they can I believe they would get guaranteed damage on a metal slime if they had Erdrick's sword.
Yeah, that strength score is in the green now, guys, which means that is enough strength on a typical seed to fight and defeat the Dragon Lord right now. So no problems swinging and hitting enemies. They are still using hurt more strats mostly, but if you didn't want to, you could fight just about anything right now.
Was ZC3K pointing out in chat that they might not even need Erdrick's sword at this rate if the strength continues to grow as it has. So the runners are looking for a bunch of key items which they need to defeat the Dragon Lord. In order to defeat the Dragon Lord, oh, that's big on JJ's side, finding the freebie cave and finding a magic key inside there.
Wow, that's amazing. And he's going to grind at least a couple of these so that he can use one to open up in the Tanteagle shop. I like the move.
Yep.
And he's got enough gold right now to buy about 4 more from Tanteagle if he has some wings to return home or something. He doesn't have the return spell yet. So I guess he's just going to go in here several times and get more keys.
Yep, do the slow grind on the magic key. I like the play.
Yeah.
So the object of the game is, of course, to defeat the evil Dragon Lord who has stolen the Ball of Light. In order to do that, you need to get to his castle, and in order to get to his castle, you need the Rainbow Drop. In order to acquire the Rainbow Drop, you in turn need 3 key items, which are the Staff of Rain, the Stones of Sunlight, and the Erdrick's Token. To get the Staff of Rain, you have to trade in the Silver Harp. And additionally, there are a couple other items that, while not necessary, the runners are in all likelihood going to want, which are Erdrick's Armor, which is not technically required to beat the game, but realistically you're gonna need it to beat it in any reasonable time frame, and then Erdrick's Sword, which again is very nice to have, although if the strength keeps going the way it has been this seed, that may also not be necessary.
So while Jackimus attempts to get whatever is hiding over here in Hawksness. So yeah, some strategy considerations and decisions here for JJ. Now, of course, he finds Remeldar after spending a minute grinding the key. But what do you do here? If you it's a hurt more seed and it's kind of a fast seed, but do you go through the trouble to go back over to the grave that you've already seen so that you can open the chests again and then potentially set up a gold grind Maybe you visit the castle to see if there's a gold grind first, or maybe you don't. But do you go through all that so that you can walk back over to that town and pick up that flame sword? Or do you just, continue to rely on hurt more strats to make, more rapid progress on the map? It's hard to know if the time it takes right now to get that flame sword is even worth it in a seed that's going so quickly. I'm not sure.
Right. The other consideration is that if you're going to return to the grave to try to set up the gold grind, especially before going to the castle, so you don't even know if there's gold available, if you're going to do that, you might as well finish diving the grave to see if maybe the sword is hiding out in the bottom.
Man, JJ just keeps finding more locations. So now we have Garenham, which he could take a peek and see what other things that he could potentially gold grind for. There's 3 different shops available, and since he has enough keys to work with, he's going to go straight in and get these coordinates here. So now we've seen all 3 search spots. We have coordinates here. Cole had nothing, and Jackimus is going to take yet another run at Hawksness. And so between Hawksness and these coordinates from Cantlin, one of those is going to lead to Erdrick's armor, and the other may or may not have Erdrick's token. So good information from JJ, while Jackimus is going after the other search spot here in Hawksness.
Yep, so the coordinates 50 north, 6 east. And it's a good thing everybody else caught that, because I somehow misinterpreted north as south. So there's that.
It's something that runners are known to do from time to time, going the other direction and searching empty areas, wondering why they're not finding the thing. So yeah, you want to make sure you have your directionals all squared away.
Certainly.
So I missed if Jack was able to get the thing, and Smashy in chat is saying it was the flute.
Yes,
on the spot.
That means the armor has to be on these coordinates.
Yep, and it means that the token is going to be in a chest, which we've seen some chests. It could be sitting right there in Tentacle Castle, though. JJ now with keys has access to a lot more chests. So I would give a slight exploration lead here to JJ, despite the fact that Jackimus was able to acquire the flute.
Meanwhile, another 5 power at level 11.
They also, at least Jackimus, has seen Swamp Cave as well, correct? Didn't he go through there towards the beginning, or perhaps I misidentified which cave that was? But if they both know where Swamp Cave is, you could potentially get the princess for those coordinates. I'm not sure how easy it is to get 50 to the north.
Right, the 6 east, obviously not a big deal, but the 50 north may or may not be an issue. I don't really remember the layout of the map as such, so... I do think with the new map algorithm, it tends to make a lot more sense to either preemptively get the princess or just get her. In general, I think a lot more than you would have previously because of all the twisty.
Yep, I would totally agree with that. Absolutely. JJ taking another in-stop on the way back through. Again, he passed through these towns and then went further and reached a bunch of dead ends and then was kind of funneled back in this direction. And decides not to top off on more keys. He has used a few, but he must feel like he has enough to work with for now. Just heads back out.
Yep.
And I think this is yet another dead end over here. There's a bunch of little... I don't know, what do they call this, an archipelago or something? A bunch of little islands with little bridges. And
yeah, maybe.
And a whole bunch of nothing. This is another empty space here.
Yeah.
And JJ's kind of been spending a little bit of time in towns, running around buying fairy water, going back and forth into the Stones Cave for more keys. And meanwhile, Jackimus, during that time, has extended that experience lead to about 600 or 700 points now over JJ while he's been running those errands. And but JJ has found more locations at this point, and the more important locations. So we'll see if that yields something on the back end here.
Yeah, though JJ, despite the substantial exploration advantage and having keys, finding Rimildar has not found any of those key items yet that I mentioned. It's very interesting, almost half out.
Yeah, it hasn't really gotten back to the castle to open all those chests. There's a couple of more in the grave that he knows where those are. But he's just deciding he wants to get the exploration done first. He could eventually find Garanham, for example. It has 3 more chests, since he does have keys. And then, of course, Mountain Cave is sitting around somewhere. Neither player has found that, and there's 5 more chests there. So plenty more to be found. Like you said, we want those quest items eventually so that we can actually get into Charlotte Castle.
Which, by the way, I don't believe we've seen Charlock yet, have we?
I have not noticed Charlock, so yeah, that's actually one of the only places that hasn't been found. I guess they still need to find Mountain Cave eventually. We saw the Staff Cave on Jack's screen. I don't think JJ found that yet. Not sure if we've seen Rainbow Drop Cave. So there's still a little bit of exploration left to do.
Okay.
Jack revisiting the Staff Cave that he saw previously. Just making sure he knows where he's at. Runs into an Armored Knight, which has the Baby Breath. So that is a nice, juicy Hurt More target right now. Two Hurt More is guaranteed to take it down as long as they connect. And they're not really that threatening at this stage with all this HP and the Heal More at their disposal.
Yeah, with the Baby Breath, they're actually making them a potential grind target if that happens to be, say, the spike tile in the Swamp Cave.
Yeah, the only thing that could stop them right now, besides just completely running out of resources, which Jack is getting a bit low right now, I guess we would have to have a Charlock level monster with the sleep spell at this point, which I don't think I've seen yet. There are still a few out there that I don't think we've seen red dragons for the most part in the seed. I don't know if we've seen golems or stone men. So, you know, there's some potential surprises out there, but right now what they've been finding, they are pretty much invincible at this point.
Right, we haven't seen either the red or the green dragon, or as Lord says.
Jack just go through Swamp Cave and finds Garanham on the other side. Okay, I thought he had seen Swamp Cave before. That may have been the wrong cave at that time. So now he goes through Swamp Cave, and there you go. He unfortunately doesn't have keys yet, though. So his exploration has just kind of gone in the wrong direction, just through sheer luck. So a town like this is going to have to be revisited, most likely. There's a cave in the back here, which, you know, it could easily be the Rainbow Drop Cave, for example. So
JJ,
you're going to want to come back here later.
Yep, JJ, meanwhile, using the wings, going back, gonna top up the magic, and I presume take a look in the treasury and whatever's in the basement here.
Yeah, it's time for him to get started with using these keys to his advantage. So if the treasury has some gold, like we said before, it may be a play that he might want to go back to the grave, even though he's already seen the top chests, mostly just for the benefit of setting up the gold grind, and then maybe grab the bottom chests while you're there. But you know, we saw a flame sword pretty close by, and then I don't remember how long it took for him to get all the way to Cantlin, but he's seen a whole bunch of shops, and it all depends on if there's gold, and there is gold in the bottom left. And scratch the flame sword. We don't need that anymore. Erdrick's sword for JJ Schmidt. So this is an opportunity for him to start playing catch up, while Jackimus still needs to find those keys somewhere, either through Rimmildar or maybe through that Stones Cave. JJ will have the sword for some of the enemies that are a little bit Hurt More resistant. It could help him catch up a little bit. In a Hurt More seed, it doesn't tend to help you as much to get the sword here, but definitely better now than later. And we have a dark place here. So I thought for a moment it might be Mountain Cave, but it's Tablet Cave, so there's one additional chest deep down in this dungeon that is empty. There's no monsters in here, and he does have the outside spell to work with. I can't recall when they picked that up, so he'll be weaving and winding his way through, getting the one chest, hoping for a quest item, and it is the Stones of Sunlight. So it is going to be required to head back into this basement after acquiring keys. And so now what does he do? Because he already has the large shield. He has coordinates. If he tracked those down right now, he could get Erdrick's armor. he may not really need to do a gold grind, and yet I kind of sense that he might be going towards the grave right now for the purpose of doing a gold grind, but I feel like right now that he's got Erdrick's Sword, it's time to go do something else. I don't know. I would maybe consider tracking down those coordinates, unless, you know, all this water to the north is just not passable, in which case you got to look around for Swamp Cave.
Alright, well, if not a gold grind, he could still be just diving for the other key items, since he's obviously still looking for the harp, and we know that the token has to be in a chest, although he may not know that yet.
Yeah, he hasn't seen Hawksness yet, so he, you know, if he finds Hawksness, he would definitely go and try and defeat that enemy there just to see. But it's a huge swamp here he's walking through and trying to eke out all the steps before using the heal more, and he does so. He'd been down here before, you said? Okay, so he must be have something that he wants to revisit on his mind now that he has keys, and Jackimus is in another dark place here.
I'm not even going to try to figure out where Jackimus is, quite frankly. JJ, now in your Hawksness.
I don't know if JJ had seen this before or not, but it seemed like he walked directly over here as if he knew it was here. Maybe it was just coincidence, but he's going to, on fairly low resources now, he's going to have this blue dragon to deal with, but it should be no problem with Erdrick's Sword. And with all this strength, he's going to possibly two-shot.
Maybe two-shot it, yeah.
Blue dragon, that is unbelievable. They still don't have a lot of MP, so they're still not Dragon Lord eligible yet. It would be preferable to have slightly more HP to work with as well, but you know, they are very strong, so he's going to take the opportunity to kill a couple of blue dragons here, and he got him. Did he search? He might have the flute. I don't know. If he searches, he would get the flute, at least as far as chat had told us from Jackimus's side earlier. All right, so they're saying that he did search and he got the flute, so in case he finds any golems out and about, he has the option to put them to sleep. And what else was over in this direction? Jack was over here for a while, and JJ's almost completely out of resources. So I'm not so sure that he's going to make it to whatever's over here. But
right.
Getting blocked in front, that agility score is still not great.
Still not great, although that was a little unlucky with 52. He's more than a 50-50 shot to run for the next night. So getting blocked 3 times in a row is unfortunate.
Jack has continued to put on the gas pedal on this experience lead. He's over 1,000 points ahead of JJ now. And I'm not even sure where that came from, because, you know, in Hurtmore Seed, oftentimes it's just a matter of which enemies you run into. But yeah, Jack's done a great job of staying out on the map and continuing to pummel these enemies. Just needs to find those keys. That is what's holding him back right now, the keys.
Yes, meanwhile, level 13 bringing 0 power! Oh, I love it!
Yeah, we've got enough power, though, so...
I was gonna say, I suppose it was inevitable at some...
Yeah, we were due for 0 power. They got enough power.
Yeah.
Jack, though, yeah, I think Rimildar was way in the southeast corner, right? So he's, like, as far away as possible from that. And the Stones Cave, which had the freebie key in the chest, is, like, dead center in the map, I believe. So he's on the west edge. Not going to be finding keys over here anytime soon. I don't think we've seen Mountain Cave yet either, though, from any runner, so there are some additional chances to pick up a key in there, I suppose.
Yeah. And I believe the freebie Stones of Sunlight Cave that had the key was actually fairly close to Rimildar as well, so...
Oh, was it? Yeah, I thought it was kind of central on the map, but it may have been kind of towards the southeast as well, because... Yeah, JJ had found that, and then he went and found Rimildar pretty quickly afterwards, so it makes sense. And back at the castle is Jack, with a couple of additional deaths beyond what JJ has here, according to our COD counter, but mostly just due to running out of resources out on the map. Both runners, for the most part, have really, they're just using that low MP as much as they can to hurt more enemies, and that's one of the downsides of the low MP score throughout the seed, is you can run out of resources before you get to the next inn, so that's happened a couple of times to our runners, but still making great progress. Just need to find the things.
Meanwhile, the agility score is kind of leveling out as well.
So here's like a red dragon, for example. This is a fight on both screens here. Jackimus will not win this fight. Well, I guess he's going after it anyways. But it'll be slower for Jackimus, and just 2 or 3 shots for JJ with the Erdrick sword. So there are some battles here and there. Yeah, excellent move, just makes it even faster. But there are some battles here and there that JJ will have an advantage on with the Erdrick sword. He possibly could have even just 2-shotted this werewolf with the sword if he wanted to try and stretch that MP out a bit. He's got that option now to be able to pick battles like that.
Yeah, it surprises me a little bit that he's still hurt-mooring even some of the endgame enemies.
Yeah.
How much MP is kind of at a premium.
And if he were able to track down the armor, I feel like that's even more on the table, because if you take one hit in between and you're 2-shotting an enemy, then you're just heal walking afterwards. And, you know, it's like no problem. But he finds another dead end and uses another set of wings. So he's, you know, return is the last spell that they haven't learned. But he's done a nice job of keeping some wings in his possession to take these shortcuts home. And, you know, aid in that exploration process just a bit faster. It's going to take the nearby inn Breckenary, but what is he going to do next? Because I'm trying to get a look here from the castle if he can count 50 to the north, because it feels like that's like the obvious thing to go after, but
yeah,
really it only makes sense
like
if you can get there.
Though, unless he might be taking a walk and thinking about it.
Yeah, how far north does this go through the swamp? I think it might end right here.
Yeah.
So it's a little unfortunate. Yeah. So this may be separated. Yeah, there's mountains here and stuff. So gonna need that swamp cave that Jack found, and that was not really close by. But once you get the swamp cave, you can rescue the princess. You can take her home. She gives you a special item called Gwaelin's Love, which acts as a little bit of a GPS. It just tells you the coordinates of where you are. I think he's actually doing some counting, Emptyeye. He's trying to look across water and things like that.
Yeah, but I think he's confused west and east here. I'm pretty sure he's now west of the castle.
Yeah, but I think you have to go west in order to go more north, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
So that would be, I mean, yeah, if he's able to count this out, that would be huge, because you know, he doesn't know where Swamp Cave is, so he's like kind of running out of things to do. He's really explored in a lot of different directions where he's just found dead ends, and he's used those wings to like, all right, maybe I'll have to go in a different direction, but he's been kind of in all directions now. And just mostly just hasn't found Swamp Cave, because it's possible that everything else now is on the other side. We know Garenham's over there, and I'm not sure where Mountain Cave is. It's just missing.
Right, that's chat mentioning that they believe it's been narrowed down so that Mountain Cave has to be in the back of Garenham, wherever Garenham is. I know Jackimus actually did find it.
Yeah, so that's going to be important for JJ. Wherever that Swamp Cave is tucked in and hiding, the faster he can find that, the better, because it leads to a whole bunch of chests. If Mountain Cave's connected to Garenham, that's 8 chests. That could very easily round up all the quest items for him, and then he could get the princess en route, and then that's the armor, and that's game. So really this is all about JJ finding the Swamp Cave now, whereas Jackimus still needs keys.
Yeah, this is definitely a situation I think we've all kind of been in, where, you know, you're just looking for that one thing to bust the seed open, and for whatever reason, you just cannot come across it.
JJ's up to 4,000 experience points now. I think he's cut into that lead a little bit. Maybe not. Wow, 52-30 for Jack. So it's Jack's continued to maintain the lead despite not having Erdrick's sword. And so yeah, JJ, it's going to come down to whether or not he finds what he needs faster so that he can get into a grind and catch up on that experience. I'm not even so sure how many more levels we're going to need here, Emptyeye. If we start looking at math here, 141 attack power is a lot. Now, there's not enough magic quite yet to compensate, but it's actually closer than you might think. Like, if you get one more heal more's worth of MP, and let's say you were satisfied with the agility and the defense power, it could be possible to go. So it's quite possible that level 14 is go time, and anytime that happens where you're still kind of looking around and collecting the items, but you're ready to fight the Dragon Lord, it becomes a little stressful for a runner, because it's like, man, if I had just found everything faster, I could be finishing the seed, you know?
Right, yeah.
Which is unusual. Usually you find, at least with these settings with 75% experience growth, usually you find the items first, and then you have more experience to get at the end. And you're grinding for it for that purpose of getting to where you can defeat the Dragon Lord. But when you get the experience first, it starts to feel like maybe that was inefficient, but I don't know what else they could have done here.
Right, so even with the kind of quality of life improvements combined with just the randomizer giving you more experience in gold, plus the standard flag set requiring less experience than normal, even with that, you do tend to have to stop and grind a little bit at some point along the way. But you're right, it's closer than you'd think. It is technically winnable at level 13, although your odds aren't great. You would need basically straight math.
Yeah, I mean, fighting with 50 defense power would be pretty nasty.
Well, there's also
but no, I mean, once you get Erdrick's armor, it's going to go up to some number that somebody probably knows. Somewhere in the 60s, mid-60s.
So
74?
Actually only 4 defense power, I believe, so...
Yeah, Erdrick's armor I know is 28, so...
Yeah, so go up to 74.
Yeah, my chart says that you would prefer to have 72 MP to have this attack power. But yeah, that's like, you know, there's some wiggle room. Obviously, you get better than average rolls and this and that. So, I mean, we could be one heal more away from go time if they pick up like 10 MP on the next level, and let's say, you know, 10 HP to make doubles a little more possible. So yeah, I mean, meanwhile, they still have a bunch of things to find. So Jackimus finally now is getting the coordinates. So
coordinates, yep.
And JJ still hasn't actually gotten that armor. So
so
now they're kind of even as far as the armor goes, even though JJ's had those coordinates for like 20 minutes now.
Yeah, well, with the way the map is laid out, it's really not countable, and if it's even attainable without the swamp cave, which I don't think it is, so he's got to kind of find that swamp cave.
So this Cantlin, this is what was right next to Rimuldar, right? Am I in the right part of the world? So
yes,
Jack's got a great chance now of getting keys within the next minute, and then things are going to happen. He's going to get the sword out of Tentacle Castle. The stones are in the basement there, and then he already knows where Swamp Cave is. So, I mean, he could basically be finishing things up pretty quickly. JJ desperately needs to find Swamp Cave.
Yep. And yeah, it looks like Jackimus does have keys.
Okay, so he must have been in Rimuldar before Cantlin. I just missed it.
Yeah, he was in Rimuldar. He found the freebie cave that had keys as well. So
yeah, that's how he got his keys. Oh, okay. Very good. So yeah, that must have been en route to Rimuldar, as you mentioned. So he's about to pick up the sword, and see if he goes into the basement where the tablet cave is housing these stones. That would be the logical next step. And yet he seems to be... Oh, just in case Mountain Cave is down here.
Something down there, yeah.
Just in case Mountain Cave, because he hasn't seen Mountain Cave, and it's either here or in Garenham from his perspective at this point.
Right.
So nice move to initiate a potential gold grind here, but it's not going to happen. But all is not lost. He is going to get the stones down here, so it's not a wasted trip by any means. Oof, where is JJ? Oh, JJ actually has attempted to count this out. He's searching an area here in the swamp. Oh boy. How much will he search before he gives up?
Oh boy.
If he can get it, it would be huge for him.
Yeah.
I think he's still going to need Swamp Cave eventually, though, for the Rainbow Drop, right? And I think the quest items are going to be over there.
Yeah, I believe
But at least if he could get the armor now, he'll save a really big trip back to get the princess and everything if he can pick up the armor this way. It's just a lot of searching, and so far I don't think he's got it. Oh, there it is!
Wow! Very
persistence. Persistence pays off, and there will be no princess rescue from JJ Schmidt, which is potentially 2 or 3 minutes saved, since Swamp Cave is pretty far away.
Yeah, very nice job from JJ counting that out. I certainly could not have done that.
Honestly, I don't even know how he did that, because there was a lot of water and mountains to the north of the castle. So
Yeah,
getting 50 to the north from the castle was not easy.
no.
So nice job. So JJ in the driver's seat again with exploration, has the armor now. He can do what we were saying before. He could be actually swinging at some of these enemies and just heal walking in between to conserve. And is he approaching Swamp Cave now? I think this might be it. So things are happening for JJ. He's also closed the experience gap while we've been watching this happen as well. He was counting, and somehow he's
right about in half.
Yeah. Now JJ is going to go into the bottom levels of the grave, which is Jack, sorry, is going to go in the bottom, which is something JJ didn't do because he didn't have keys at that time. So if one of those quest items is down here, it could be a long time before JJ does that, because you can bet he's going to go into Garenham, he's going to full clear Mountain Cave, and whatever else is over here on the second continent. And if he still doesn't have the harp or the token, then it's going to be like, ooh, maybe I'm going to have to go back to the grave.
And meanwhile, JJ looks like maybe he was trying to farm metal slimes there, but...
Oh, that would be a heads-up play, actually, because with 141 attack power, you are one-shotting metal slimes. That would be pretty cool, but you have to get them to appear for you in order to farm them. That's unfortunate. That's happened to JJ 2 or 3 times. He's found a really good zone. He's stayed there for a minute, and the enemy just doesn't pop up. He did the same with the Axe Knight earlier. Just, I'm going to go farm these Axe Knights, and then they didn't show up.
Level 14, another 12 power.
Yeah, so that's a go time level. And even with Jack on the Strength Agility build, has enough HP now to make that doable. Once he gets the armor, he's going to be, he'll have enough defense to make 101 HP work for the most part. Yeah, level 14's go time, guys. That is a lot of power.
Yeah.
Pretty sure you only need about 7 heal mores with that attack power. That's actually off my chart, so I can't just look it up. That's more power than we ever have, so...
Right, yeah.
There's the harp for JJ and Garenham, and
a corset for Sparkover. Hooray.
Right. And if this is Mountain Cave back here, this is going to be the Drop Cave or Mountain Cave, right? Because we haven't seen the Rainbow Drop Cave. But it looks like Mountain Cave. So there's a very good chance the token is here, unless Jack's found it in his travels over there.
Right. I've honestly not been paying attention there.
Well, that 4th chest he just opened, and the screen kind of froze on me. I didn't see what it was. So JJ's going in, and he's kind of low on MP. Did he take the in stop in Garenham on the way through here? Because
I don't believe he did.
I feel like he probably could have gone to the inn and made this a little easier on himself. But regardless, he'll have still a good chance to get through here. And here's the first, and it's a key. I'm not even using Radiant here. He knows his way around Mountain Cave pretty well. Wants to conserve 3 heal mores worth of MP here. The Knight seems to... Yeah, he's just going to use the sword on the Knight. One shots the Knight.
Deepest part of grave has the token.
Oh, geez, that is huge.
Yeah,
that puts JJ back, or that puts Jackimus kind of back in the driver's seat, because Jackimus knows where Swamp Cave is. He has keys now. He'll head back over to Garenham in the near future. And meanwhile, JJ's going to be doing a lot of running around before realizing, man, I'm going to have to go back into the grave. I'm trying to think if JJ's seen all other chests once he clears this dungeon. He's definitely been in Rimuldar for that chest. Garenham, Tantagle, they have chests. He saw the Freebie Cave, saw the Tablet Cave, and now he's going to full clear Mountain. Yeah, so if it's not here, he'll know. He'll have to just go directly back. He may spend the time to find Sharlock and the Rainbow Drop Cave while he's here, but finding the Rainbow Drop Cave without possession of the token doesn't do you a whole lot of good, so maybe just go straight back to the grave first. I'm not sure. Took 1 step out of town to try and probably re-enter for the inn, and runs into a red dragon while he was just trying to re-enter the town. But they're strong enough to have no problem here.
Did find the death necklace, although that's not going to be a factor here. And there's Sharlock.
All right. And doesn't have the wings. He wanted to return home immediately upon finding Sharlock.
Yeah, so that's actually a very interesting point that you bring up here. Without return, and return is not at the next level either. We might be seeing a walk of shame back from Sharlock, depending on.
Yeah, they absolutely have to remember to have a set of wings here.
Yep.
And the only places to get those without finding them in a chest somewhere are in the town of Cole or in the town of Cantlin, which are not really that close to anywhere. So I think there's wings in the treasury in the castle, actually, if you can remember to go pick those up. And meanwhile, Jackimus actually is printing a whole bunch of money here. So Jackimus just full cleared the grave, and so then when he death warped out of here, he sets up the gold grind. I don't remember exactly where the silver shield was, but he grabbed enough money for exactly the silver shield.
Yeah, he clearly thinks there's a silver shield available, but...
Yep, and he's not worried about getting armor, since the next thing that he's going to be looking for basically is Erdrick's armor, and he already has the coordinates. So Silver Shield is available here in Breckenary.
Okay.
So, yeah. So he'll have 10 more defense power. And that could come into play in Sharlock, because with the agility build that he has and the Silver Shield, he could potentially be defense breaking some Sharlock enemies that JJ will not be, enabling him possibly to grind his way down if he thinks that this level's a little too borderline for some reason, or you know, he'll just be taking less damage along the way while he runs from things. Seems to be going to level 15 anyways. He's just fighting things as they come right now in the overworld, but
yeah,
may or may not be necessary. I mean, it's the numbers right now are kind of close. Like, if you have an issue in Sharlock where you have to burn a heal more or two, then you'd rather have, you know, some excess.
Right, this is... Right, even with all this attack power, you don't need a whole lot for the Dragon Lord, but the getting down to the Dragon Lord might be an issue. As you said, really with so few heal mores available.
Yeah, and agility is only in the 70s. You know, that I assume that if they run into red dragons in Sharlock, they're just going to be fighting them because they can two-shot them sometimes, and they're basically always three-shotting them. But even with that, though, you can get bombarded by you know, consecutive enemies and have to burn a heal more or something. And again, we came back, like we mentioned before, I think there is a handful of Sharlock enemies we haven't seen yet, right? And they, you know, any of those could have like a wombo combo, for example. We just don't know. Yeah, we haven't really seen any Stone Man. I don't remember too many golems.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we wizards at all.
Yeah, wizards, green dragons. I don't remember seeing too many of those. So I don't know. Yeah, so there, I mean, there could be some surprises. So getting level 15 just because, you know, seems okay. Like, he still has things to do, so he's just fighting the enemies en route instead of, you know, running from everything at this time. If you had like such a huge level up that, you know, it was a slam dunk, then you actually should consider running from everything on the overworld while you're rounding everything up here. But it's still kind of borderline, so Jack is, you know, he's just fighting while he's finishing up here. And here's going to be the harp for Jackimus, and I didn't catch if he actually went into the basement of the castle, which is where the stones were. We don't have it marked off for him, but if he has that, then he'll have everything. We saw him enter the staff cave a couple of different times. And is he going to be grinding on the enemy over here? Oh, Jack is going to get the princess, because that's a difficult count.
Right,
back into the swamp cave with the princess, yeah.
Not seeing the, it doesn't have the armor yet.
Yep, and this is a good bit of routing from Jackimus. I think he saw that. Did he just see that Sharlock was over there? And he also just got the, you know, the harp out of the chest there, and Garanham. And now he's going back to Swamp Cave for the princess, and he'll just go home from here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it looks like JJ about to, well, don't want to jinx it, but he's making his way down to the deepest part of the grave here. Making his way toward that token.
Oh, that was actually faster than I would have thought from JJ. So yeah, once he gets this, And while we were looking the other way, apparently he revisited the staff cave and upgraded the harp for the staff already. So the question now with the token in hand is, does he know where that Rainbow Drop Cave is? Because it is Rainbow Drop Cave and then Sharlock. I mean, it really don't even have to grind. JJ at this point, that's basically what could be on his mind. How fast can I get to the Rainbow Drop Cave? And then I'm going straight to Sharlock. And Jack still has to round up the Erdrick's armor, potentially by using the GPS. And while he's here, it looks like he might be just getting 2 more red dragon fights on the spike tile here in order to get the next level. But, okay, well, now he's just kind of walking. He has the princess in hand, so doesn't cast outside. Thought maybe he was going to revisit the spike tile for level 15, but...
Yep. Meanwhile, JJ making the heads-up play, picking up a set of wings.
Oh, you know what? He has outside, but he doesn't have return. Ugh, gross when you have the princess in hand here. Does he have any wings?
Around the world, I guess.
Ooh, yeah, if he's got no wings, this is a little bit of a problem. But he's going to revisit this Shrine Cave en route here, and maybe from here he'll cast, he'll throw up a wings if he has any. Maybe that was the whole idea all along. So, and here's the Rainbow Dragon, and he does have the wings. So it was just routing. It was a routing decision. Jack knew what he was doing there, and does the upgrade, and then throws up the wings, returns the princess, and JJ has the drop. So, as we said from earlier on, Jack had kind of extended that experience lead, but this seed was going to come down to a battle of exploration. And JJ explored just in the right directions, found keys earlier, so he's got first opportunity to take on the Dragon Lord. Yeah, like we said before, a lot of seeds really do come down to efficiency of grinding. And a lot of times you either have to stop and grind, or you have to, fight things along the way in a well thought out manner. In this case, it was really about covering the map, because the experience was going to come faster than you could get everything in this one. And that's what happened here. So JJ is going to take the in stop to fill up to full, just a few steps away from Sharlock. Clearly going to be going for it on this level. Doesn't even look like he has any intention of fighting his way down. He does not have the silver shield. He's not defense breaking any Sharlock enemies. So fighting your way down is a little bit more difficult here, and it's a full level. He just has enough right now to get he just got 14. It's at 56-27. He's not even fighting the green dragon, so he's going to go for it on 14, not going to get 15.
Meanwhile, Jackimus about to get 15 here.
And here we go.
0 power! Oh, I love it!
Looks like he got 1 extra heal more out of that.
Yeah.
It's up to 64 max for MP, which puts him in the orange for MP officially.
Yes.
JJ is going to be taking on the Dragon Lord with one of the statistics still in the white, guys. Talk about not balanced.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah, so the colors on the tracker, typically white means you're sort of making the climb, but that stat is no good. Orange is what I call context sensitive, where you kind of look at your other stats and decide whether you like the orange stat based on everything else. And green means you are good to go. But the attack power in particular here is so far in the green that the MP kind of barely matters. Right now, even without the fighter's ring, JJ will be doing, I believe that is 13 to 26 damage to Dragon Lord 2 per swing. So the average is about 19 to 20. So
it's funny, I can't even imagine that the fighter's ring would make any difference with these statistics. Like, what could possibly be the difference between 153 and 155 attack power? Like, probably makes no difference whatsoever. Because it's very likely to actually be right here in Sharlock, right? I think we've seen all the other chests. Like, he could make a side trip potentially and go get the fighter's ring, but I don't think he's going to be doing that.
Right, I don't think that's really necessary.
Jackimus actually looks like he might be entertaining the idea of going all the way to level 16. And is he actually still looking for the armor? I guess he's closing in on it now. He has the GPS in hand, so wait a minute. Does he think it's on the other continent?
He might?
Oh, chat's saying he picked up the armor
okay.
just a minute ago. Okay. So Jackimus has Erdrick's armor now, so he is on his way to Charlock as well. He's on very low resources, just has to make it through Swamp Cave alive here, because there's an inn directly on the other side, and then he can go right in. He is continuing to fight enemies, though. I find this kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting play.
I mean, the stats are so imbalanced that it's not common for you to be in this situation, so it just might... See, he's looking at the stats again. It's like, is this go time or not? It's not too clear because you're so not used to seeing 64 MP and considering going for it, you know, so... yeah.
Stoneman with the Diet Wombo combo, the Sleep Hurt More combo.
Ah, so somebody does have sleep. That was the one thing that could be a gotcha here, is we hadn't seen a lot of enemies, and if they do have sleep... But so far, with 72 agility, JJ has made it all the way to the bottom. Full resources, I believe.
Did get hung up for a couple rounds by the Fun Police.
So JJ has 7 heal morts to work with, assuming he gets all the way there without taking any unnecessary damage here. We don't know what the mini-boss is, which is a required victory. And he has an issue with the Stone Man here, and he's down to 1 herb. But assuming he gets full HP and has all 7 heal mores, and I'm not even on the chart here. So what are we looking at? We have what, 13 to 26?
That's
damage. So what is that? That's almost 20 damage average.
Yeah. So the average is about
19. Okay. 19 and a half. I don't know. It's a lot. So.
Need 2 shots the Fun Police on the spike tile.
So on average, you'd need probably 8 or maybe more like 9 hits if it was like a 165 style Dragon Lord. So 7 heal mores is kind of on the bubble when you need 9 attacks, and may or may not actually get there full here because okay.
He's going.
So he used the 1 regular heal already, and he didn't have any more before burning another heal more. So this is actually very close, guys, and the range is so wide for attack rolls that it could vary pretty significantly here. It's all about getting good rolls. This is very close. And no back attacks. At least going to get 1 turn to start, and it is a 25, which is nearly the max. So we're saying there's a chance. Jackimus throws up the Radiant to continue through the first zone of Charlock. He's going for it on this level. And he'll seemingly be in a better position with that extra heal more. Something goes wrong here for JJ, so this is his chance right here. He's already halfway through the fight. Can he do it? And these runners put on quite a show. We're under 1 hour and 10 minutes already, and we're looking at Dragon Lord fights. So
yes.
Blazing fast pace here on a map that seems pretty spread out.
Yeah.
50 physical.
Yep, something to keep in
FYI,
mind.
They could get hit for up to 51.
Yep, because he can be physical for up to 51, as you said. With the 76 defense.
Yeah, that comes into play a bit more for Jackimus. On the strength agility build, Jackimus only has 102 hit points to work with. So those really big physicals might come into play a bit more. And on the last attack, JJ takes it down. What a courageous dive and fight on 14 with just 7 heal mores to work with and 72 agility points. Manages to get all the way down and defeats the Dragon Lord on the last attack. The 32 seed is moving on, guys, and the number 1 seed is going home.
Yes, indeed. This was why I did not want to make a prediction. The official SRL,
Yeah.
1 hour, 7 minutes, 14 seconds for JJ Schmidt.
Yep. Congrats to JJ. Very nice from both runners. Really, map RNG played a pretty big role here with Jackimus just not finding keys for quite a long time. That unlocked a lot of critical portions of the seed. So he had the experience lead, but just couldn't round up the items because just not having keys as quickly as JJ. And JJ did a really nice job exploring the map, getting everything rounded up. So well-deserved victory. Well done. And I heard a ding. Do we have jjschmidt77 in the commentary booth?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Congrats on a great victory over the #1 seed JackimusWedge. How's it feel?
Oh, well, I feel it's just vindication for last year. Getting the 1 seed last year and then bowing out in my first match. So 1 seeds are 0-2.
Sounds like the #1 seed is cursed. You don't want the #1 seed, guys. So next year, definitely make sure to lose a match along the way.
Yeah, you don't
avoid the #1 seed.
Apparently not. It was BT last year, and yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
And my goal coming in, I guess, was just to get back to that round of 16 that I got to last year. So this is where I'm at. I know it's Game Boy next, so obviously it does not get any easier. Even though it's the 1 seed, Game Boy is, a former champion. So I'll be excited for next week, but really happy right now. It was good. I felt like it was a really good run.
Yeah, and anything about the run that you thought was, I guess that was you just answered it, I guess. Yeah, you felt like you ran it really well, because from here it looked very good. You struck out and did the exploration seemingly at the right times. You found the right things, which is a little bit, one thing we were saying before you got here is that you did find the keys a little bit earlier than Jack, so you were able to go in and get the sword. That led you to get the coordinates a bit quicker and all that kind of thing. So the exploration was the big thing in this one, because you guys were getting experience so fast. It was all about how fast you could get around, right?
Yeah, I was wondering about the keys, because there was a few different paths. Obviously, you could kind of branch out at that one spot. And getting those keys first, I don't know. He could have got the armor. He could have got keys at Rimeldar. Wasn't too much further. So it was, yeah. The only thing I really feel like I didn't do well was I started counting 6 west instead of 6 east. But I
wondered about that
out pretty quick.
So Jackimus was basically 1 victory away from level 16, but doesn't bother with it, just goes for the fight on 15. You won at 14, JJ, and with some seemingly borderline stats, won on your last attack. Jackimus just happened to get 15 just in his travels because, same thing, he was just getting experience so quickly, he just couldn't get all the items together. So he already had 15, didn't really do any grinding, and then he was like halfway to 16 and, diving through Sherlock, so he almost ended up getting 2 extra levels beyond where you did. So 15 actually didn't yield a whole lot. There's like 1 extra heal more to work with, and that's kind of about it. So this fight should go similarly.
I felt like at 14 you could give a heal more and still win, which happened because I had to do the double heal more there with that 50 spot he put up on a low previous heal more. Yeah, that's exactly kind of how I thought it would go. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, it was a good char luck, so I can't complain about really anything. I thought the start was a little rough, but I'll let Jack roll in here.
Yeah, GG for Jackimus, just about 4 minutes behind. Both of you guys pretty much crushed this seed, sub 75 minutes. It's always really strong. You got you did get the early hurt more. It was level 3, and you got to level 3 first. And that propelled you forward to a little bit of a lead. Jackimus overtook you in those middle levels. I think he got a metal slime or 2 along the way, but it wasn't that early or anything. It was level 7 or level 8. And then So he actually did have an experience lead, but it just wasn't necessary because the go time level, you were there when you got all the items. So
Yeah, didn't feel like at any point we were gonna need to grind. I wanted to get 14 at that spot with the metal slimes
so
just for
tell us
fun.
about counting out those coordinates, by the way,
Yeah,
because
that
you
was
didn't
very
know where
impressive.
Swamp Cave was yet either, right? So you just like, well, I gotta try and count this. How did you manage that? What was going on there?
I was just taking a peek. First off, I didn't know what part of the map the swamp cave would be in, because in my mind I'd covered everything pretty well. So part of me was thinking, well, I'll start counting, and I don't know, I'm just kind of stupid, but sometimes I think, you count out the coordinates and you get somewhere you haven't been before. But then I could see, you could kind of get there, and then I got baffled by being 12 spaces to the left. But once I quickly looked back at my notes, because even at what I was thinking, it was right in the river or whatever that is. So I figured that out pretty quick, and then
Oh, Emptyeye, you were right. The east-west thing was getting him for a little while there.
Yeah.
I thought it was just because you were like going around some obstacle or something, so you were like drifting to the west. But yeah, east-west, that'll get you.
You had to, but it was still. When I walked up and saw the castle, I happened to be 6 spaces west, and so I'm dead on, and didn't think about it twice until the end of the count. So, GG, Jack, another tight one with us, man.
Smitty, I don't know what the hell you did, man, but I think you deserve all the congratulations in the world there, because I'm saying this, and I mean this like in a very complimentary way. I have no idea how I lost that one, because I was on point and everything seemed to be going so well. So I don't know what the hell you did, man, but congratulations. You deserve it.
Hey, well, I appreciate it. And it was tight, man. So I don't blame you one bit.
Very nice run, Jackimus. Very nice. You guys both crushed that seed, it seemed like.
Yeah, it was very back and
forth. From our perspective, it seemed like just the big factor happened to be what we call the map RNG. It took you a little bit longer to find keys. That was kind of a big thing, I think. That was it, because that unlocked a couple of key things for you guys, and that was it.
I would be more concerned about finding keys late, if not for the fact that I was constantly gaining experience and making progress everywhere else. I mean, keys were very important in this seed, obviously, but I don't see that making up like the 3-ish minutes of difference there. So I'm gonna have to watch this one back, because I definitely felt like, I'm not going to say I felt like I was ahead. You can never feel like you're ahead in this because you have no idea. Right. But I knew that from having played hundreds of these things there that I was playing well. And
yeah, you definitely were. I think
I was not expecting to. There's a certain point in the race where I don't think I was necessarily. It's not that I was expecting to lose or anything. I just was expecting it that if I was going to lose, it was going to be a little closer than it was, I guess.
In my mind, for what it's worth, I was thinking that my whole Charlock dive you were about to done too. So there just wasn't a lot of space in this seed to. I mean, I think if you had 10 people racing this seed, it might be a 5, 6, 10-minute top spread. I just don't think there's much that can differentiate this seed out.
No, not really. It wasn't a very difficult seed at all. I think I routed the Endgame that I did really well. So I'm disappointed that I lost. I'm kind of flabbergasted that I lost by that much, but I'm not necessarily surprised that I lost. I always say it's a, Gambler's Randomizer RNG has a huge factor in it and all that, but, that's a thing.
It seemed like an unusual seed just because the endgame level was kind of on the lower side, and you also had a map that was kind of spread out. So, yeah, Jack, as you said, you were playing really well, and you actually did have the experience lead. It just so happened that it was more about like if you could round everything up quickly enough, because the if you needed level 17 or 18 or something, then you would have had a really nice advantage because you did have the lead on the experience. So it was more about just getting those keys and getting to the armor, getting to the sword, just getting everything rounded up. It just so happened that it was possible to win on 14, which is what JJ did. You ended up at level 15 just in your travels because you were still, getting those last couple of things.
I wasn't
didn't
even
build much anyway.
I wasn't even really looking at my stats, to be honest, for most of it there. It's like, you just play the randomizer, get the stuff, and then you worry about what you need to finish up there. But I was on my way to Sharlock, and I hit a crit for 150, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll check my stats and see where I'm at right now, instead of, when I get to Garenham and heal up, and I look at it, and it's like, oh, well, this is free, so, yeah. And then, still Sharlock threw enough weak enemies at me that I nearly got 16 on the way down there because, even with the agility build, if you have a defense broken enemy that you can two-shot, on average, it's probably better just to swing at it twice and kill it than risk failing to run away and jeopardize your ability to have resources at the bottom.
We're super glad that you participated in this tournament anyways. You had a very nice Swiss rounds. Do you have any other tournaments or rando competitions that you'll be doing next?
Nothing I'm in right now, but I'm looking to improve my internet. I got a few things in the pipeline that I want to do some streaming with, so that'll be fun. But, I guess in closing, I am unfortunately the 2019 Tampa Bay Lightning. Top seed going into the playoffs and, just get swept out of her, nothing doing there. But like Columbus, JJ, man, he should be better than... Dude, you should be better than 32 seed.
Well, I appreciate that, and I don't know how close you watched last year, but I had that 1 seed last year and lost in my first game to BT, so that 1 seed's cursed me.
That's just how she goes, don't you know? It's like I always say, you can't feel too good when you win, you can't feel too good when you lose. Just play, have some fun there. Now, one last thing there. I'm hoping that my requests for my pronouns and name were honored tonight. Because I don't get to do this no more, so I hope we had a little fun with me being silly there.
I can say that, yes. Your request was honored, Mr. Thou.
But was I Captain Jack? Not Captain, Captain.
You were JackimusWedge, thou thine. So.
Boo!
I was just gonna let you handle that, Emptyeye. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, hey, Tracker, just for fun, you should change my name to Turd Ferguson for a minute here. Just for laughs. Come on, let's do it.
Hey Jack, I want to let you know too. I found a moose port in a bar, not a bar, but like a bar beer store. So I saved that for tonight. Got that going right now in honor. This is delicious.
Well, here's a don't know if that came through on the mic or not there, but there's an internet cheers for you, man. Congratulations, and I hope you go all the way, man. I think I'm not the only person pulling for you to go all the way, looking at the predictions they got going there.
I don't know. Zarnak said something, I think, somewhere. I didn't know if he meant it or not. I didn't take myself, so.
Nah, man. It's like I said. The seeding, as much as I can be like, oh yeah, man, I swept the Swiss round, I'm so great and all, the seeding doesn't really mean a lot in this tournament. It really doesn't. You're a guy who's good at this game, man. I played a bunch of races with you before. I don't think we've ever faced in a tournament for this before or nothing there, but nah, man, you've finished ahead of me plenty of times there. I'm only just surprised because I played well and lost by like 4+ minutes or something. That's just what kind of boggles my mind. I want to see what you did there because I thought I killed this thing, but you enacted genocide on the horrible subhuman race of the Red Dragon. So congratulations, sir.
It is true. Well, again, appreciate it, and yeah, all these matches are coin flips. So whoever wins that bracket pool is about going to be some kind of clairvoyant, I think.
Clairvoyant, maybe. But you know, it's like I say, it's always better to be lucky than to be good. And well, I was both tonight, so I don't even know what to make of that. But yeah, man, I guess you got to go get up against my buddy Game Boy F9 in the next round there. And I'll tell you there right now, that man, because of me, has good tastes in beer, and that man is also kind of terrible at Settlers of Catan. I wrecked his face at that last year when he came to visit me there.
All right, insider information. Very good.
I'll go pick up another moose port.
Not just him, but his missus as well there. We were at... Yeah, see, here's the thing. They were on like a vacation in my neck of the woods, and they came up over my way for one night there. I put them up at my hotel, got them a discount, got them a nice room and everything, because, hey, that's what I do, man. But, you know, on top of that, it's like I took them out to both of the top-tier local breweries. We had some beers, we had some scallops and stuff. They had a game of Settlers of Catan at the second brewery we went to, and I wrecked face. That's all I'm saying.
Nice.
So,
Well,
JJ Schmidt, you have to channel your inner Jackimus. Pretend that Dragon Warrior Randomizer is Settlers of Catan, which is always randomized. That's what's going to happen next week. And you, sir, are going to continue to win all the races.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the confidence.
Hey, if not for confidence, what else do I have? I'm just this guy, yeah?
All right, final thoughts, guys.
Final thoughts. Geez, you guys know what my final thoughts are. I would like everyone who's got, you know, not muted voices to do it in unison so I don't have to. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go, Bruins.
Well, at least up to NG, you know, dived in there. But geez, what's wrong with the rest of you guys? You must be like friggin' Habs fans or something. I don't think we can be friends anymore.
I figured that was coming, though, at some point, so...
Naturally. In all honesty, Vegas is going to win the Cup this year. It's going to be Vegas-Washington in the final. Rematch of 2 years ago, but this time Vegas is going to come out on top. You heard it here first, folks! You heard it here first. Go to Vegas or your local gambling store, buy your tickets, put down your mortgage on Vegas. They're winning the Cup this year. Enjoy the tip from Jackimus. Please send me 10% of your winnings.
Very good. JackimusWedge, thank you for joining us. That was
But seriously,
awesome.
let's go Bruins! Goodbye.
There you go. There you go. We had a bunch of links in the chat, guys. Follow these two runners. Fantastic skills displayed tonight. And we have additional links, I think, for the commentary booth people. We had Lord of the Synth on the restream tonight. Excellent job, as always. We got the Amuse Miniature doing some very fine tracking this evening. And Emptyeye, a pleasure as always.
Yes, that was quite fun. Very exciting race. Very back and forth, actually. One person would have the advantage, and then the other would find something key, and then the other would have the exploration advantage. Very
that
close.
was fun to watch. I thought, even despite the seedings, as we mentioned early on, that this was going to be a very close competitive race, and we had a good one that was very entertaining. And just like that, guys, we're almost halfway through the first round of the brackets, and I believe this is the only race for tonight on the schedule, but we have, looks like 3 other races coming up tomorrow, so you guys can all mark your calendars. 7 p.m. Eastern, Janice Zeal 6 and Tierra X. And making our way towards 9 p.m. Eastern, we have High Spirits and Centroid 41. And at 9:30, Ness Cardinality and Jay Coper. So lots going on tomorrow for this. Yeah, those are going to be good races.
Really, yeah. Those are on Randomania and or Randomania 2, depending on which race you want to go check out.
And this round will there's a few more on the schedule that will be all wrapped up by the end of the week. By Sunday, we'll have our final 16 runners all figured out. And we'll be moving on to next week. But this was a good one tonight. I guess that's going to do it, Emptyeye. Any final thoughts?
No, just very, very quick seed. And despite being very quick, very exciting, very back and forth, definitely a better race than a 132 seeding would indicate. So, highly entertaining.
Totally agree. And thanks everybody in chat that's been hanging out with us tonight. And definitely follow those links. Follow your runners. Throw a follow towards some of the crew here tonight, and come back in the rest of the week for more tournament action. And so for my co-commentator Emptyeye, I'm up to NG. Thanks for watching, everybody, and see you next time.